The luxury hotel's marble lobby glittered under golden chandeliers, but upstairs in the penthouse suite, chaos reigned. Billionaire Alexander Pierce, known for his ruthless business empire and ice-cold composure, paced the floor in sheer panic. His infant son, Leo, wailed uncontrollably in his crib, his tiny fists thrashing the air. Doctors had come, nannies had tried, even a famous child expert had been flown in. All failed. The baby's cries echoed through the suite, rattling Alexander's nerves until his iron facade cracked. "Why won't he stop?" he whispered hoarsely, clutching his head as if billions of dollars meant nothing compared to this torment. Down the hall, Rosa, a hotel cleaning lady, pushed her cart silently. A black woman in her early 40s, she carried years of hard work etched into her hands and back, but her eyes still held warmth. As she changed linens in the suite next door, the piercing cries of the baby cut through the walls. She paused, her heart tightening. She had heard this kind of desperate cry before. Her late daughter used to cry just like that. Rosa closed her eyes, fighting back painful memories, but something in her couldn't stay still. Against every rule in the book, she knocked softly on the billionaire's door. Alexander flung the door open, his face flushed, tie undone, desperation replacing his usual arrogance. "What do you want?" he snapped. Rosa swallowed her fear. "Sir, I heard your baby. Please, may I try something?" The billionaire glared, about to dismiss her, but the baby's cries sliced the air again, louder, sharper. Something in his chest broke. "Fine," he barked, stepping aside. "But if you wake him worse—" He couldn't finish the threat because Rosa had already walked in, her eyes gentle as they fell on the red-faced infant. Rosa approached the crib, humming softly under her breath, a lullaby in a language Alexander didn't recognize, deep, soulful, carrying echoes of sorrow and comfort at once. Her hands trembled slightly as she lifted the baby, but the moment she pressed him against her chest, the wailing began to fade. The room grew still as if holding its breath. Alexander watched, stunned, as his son, who hadn't stopped crying for hours, went quiet in less than a minute, his little head nestling into Rosa's shoulder. The billionaire's jaw tightened, emotions he hadn't felt in years rising unbidden. How did you do that?" he asked, his voice hushed. Rosa rocked the baby gently, still humming. "It's a song my grandmother sang in the old country. It calms restless spirits. Sometimes, babies feel more than we realize." She didn't say that this was the very song she had once sung to her dying child in the hospital, the last memory she carried of holding her. That part of the story was hers alone, at least for now. For hours, the baby slept peacefully in Rosa's arms, something that hadn't happened in weeks. Alexander sat silently across from her, watching this cleaning lady, someone invisible in his world, achieve what experts and money could not. Slowly, a realization carved into him. All his power, his fortune, his name meant nothing when his child was suffering. And here, a woman he'd never noticed before had given him a gift beyond price. "You work here? In this hotel?" he asked, finally breaking the silence. Rosa nodded, gently lowering Leo back into the crib. "Yes, sir. Just cleaning rooms, keeping things tidy." Alexander leaned forward, his voice softer than it had been in years. "You saved my son tonight. What you did, it wasn't just cleaning." Rosa smiled faintly, brushing a tear she didn't want him to see. "Sometimes the smallest things matter most." Word spread quickly among the staff. The billionaire's crying baby had been soothed not by doctors, not by wealth, but by Rosa, the cleaning lady. Some whispered in awe, others with envy, but Alexander didn't care what anyone thought. He requested Rosa by name to be near his suite whenever possible, shocking the hotel manager who had never heard him acknowledge a single staff member before. To everyone's surprise, Alexander began to soften, taking time to watch, listen, and even hold his son the way Rosa showed him. Nights that once echoed with Leo's cries now filled with Rosa's lullabies. Slowly, Alexander began asking about her life, her family, her struggles, the daughter she had lost. For the first time in years, he listened to someone not for business but for humanity. And in Rosa's resilience, he found a strength money couldn't buy. "You didn't just save him," Alexander admitted one night. "You saved me too." In the end, the billionaire who once believed nothing was beyond his control learned humility from a cleaning lady who carried her own invisible scars. Rosa's unthinkable act, breaking rules, crossing class lines, offering her heart where money had failed, changed both father and child forever. And though she returned each morning to her cart and mop, in Alexander's eyes, Rosa was no longer just a worker in the shadows. She was the woman who had sung life back into his son's fragile soul. The next morning, Rosa wheeled her cart down the hallway as usual, expecting the night before to be nothing more than a fleeting moment. But when she reached the penthouse suite, the billionaire himself opened the door, carrying Leo in his arms. The baby was smiling, an expression Rosa had never seen on his face before. "He's been calm since last night," Alexander said, almost in disbelief. "I don't know how to thank you." Rosa shifted uncomfortably, unused to being spoken to as an equal by a man like him. "No thanks needed, sir. I'm just glad he's better." But Alexander wasn't satisfied with that answer. For the first time in years, his gratitude ran deeper than money. That day, Alexander called the hotel manager and made an unusual demand. Rosa was to be reassigned from general cleaning to personal staff for his suite. The manager nearly fainted, stammering about rules and hierarchy, but Alexander's cold gaze silenced all objections. "She stays near my son," he said firmly. Rosa was stunned when she was told. "Sir, I don't belong in penthouses," she whispered nervously when Alexander explained it to her. He looked at her with rare sincerity. "You belong wherever my son feels safe, and right now that's with you." As days turned into weeks, Rosa's presence became part of the household rhythm. She sang Leo to sleep, taught Alexander how to cradle him properly, even showed him small tricks, like placing a warm towel on the crib before laying the baby down so he wouldn't startle awake. Each time, Alexander watched in awe, realizing how little he knew about the simplest acts of care. He found himself lingering to listen to her voice, the way it wrapped the room in calm. And though he never said it aloud, he began to feel something he hadn't known in years. Peace. One evening, as Rosa hummed her lullaby, Alexander finally asked, "Where did you learn that song?" "It feels heavy, like it carries history." Rosa hesitated, her eyes clouding. She sat down slowly, her voice softer than ever. "It's the song I sang to my daughter when she was sick. She didn't make it. But the song," her voice cracked, "the song still lives in me. Maybe that's why Leo hears it. Maybe he feels her spirit too." Alexander's throat tightened, an unfamiliar ache rising inside him. He realized she wasn't just soothing his son, she was healing her own broken heart at the same time. From that moment, Alexander's respect deepened into something stronger. He began quietly investigating ways to ease Rosa's burdens. He discovered she lived in a crumbling apartment, barely able to pay rent, working double shifts just to survive. Without telling her, he arranged for her rent to be paid anonymously and slipped money into a trust for her future. But when Rosa found out, she confronted him, her voice trembling. "I don't want your charity, sir. I only wanted to help your child." Alexander's reply shocked her. "It's not charity, Rosa. It's gratitude. And maybe it's friendship." Rosa tried to keep her distance after that, reminding herself that she was just a cleaning lady, nothing more. But Alexander wouldn't let her fade into the background again. He began asking her opinion on the smallest things. What colors soothed Leo? What food made him smile? Even what kind of music softened the atmosphere of the penthouse? "You have instincts money can't buy," he told her one evening as she gently rocked Leo. Rosa blushed, unsure how to respond. She had lived a life where her voice rarely mattered, and now a billionaire was hanging on every word one night. A high-profile dinner was held in the penthouse. Business leaders, politicians, and celebrities filled the Golden Hall. Leo, as usual, began to fuss, and the guests frowned as the baby's cries disrupted the conversation. Alexander excused himself, but before he could calm his son, Rosa appeared quietly from the side. She took Leo in her arms, humming her lullaby. Within moments, the baby was asleep, his tiny fingers curled around hers. The entire room fell silent, jaws dropping at the sight. Alexander looked at his guests and declared, "Gentlemen, meet the only person in this room who can truly do what no one else can." The humiliation in their eyes didn't matter. In that moment, Rosa shone brighter than any deal or contract, but not everyone approved. Hotel staff began whispering, some jealous, others suspicious. One bitter supervisor accused Rosa of manipulating the billionaire for favors. Rumors spread quickly, reaching Rosa's ears, cutting her deeply. She thought about quitting, not wanting to cause more truce.